Hello, everyone. So I guess we'll get started. Giving enough time for others to join. Okay, so we will go through some updates for the last couple of weeks. Of course, the elephant in the room will get addressed as well. The whole hack and the exploitation, and then we'll take questions and then wrap up the AMA as usual. So I will give the floor to Wilson to essentially go through some of the agenda, and then we'll take turns in taking the rest of the agenda as per usual. Wilson, do you want to take over?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, it's we've had quite a few developments, some good and some bad since the last time we all spoke here. But I want to just kind of thank everyone for joining us here today, and we want to get to the bottom of the issue that was the hack that happened, and we brought in our partners and colleagues who are going to help with kind of giving some of the details about what happened. We don't really have too much of an agenda just for this call in particular. So really when it comes down to the hack and the situation that happened, we want to kind of be as transparent as possible. So we'll go ahead and maybe see if Jacob, our developer, can join, and then he can maybe speak a little bit to his viewpoint of what happened and what we have done to remedy the situation.
So Jakob, I've given you speaker rights. So just the intro. Who Jakob is our lead Solidity engineer as well. So he will be able to give some technical depth into the whole situation. Of course, we have Hacken here, so they will be able to answer any questions you guys may have as well. And then, yeah, we'll just proceed on from there.
The floor is yours, Jacob. Thank you.
Yes, hello everyone.
Thanks for joining us here today.
Yeah, Jakob, can you just give a brief overview of what's happened, what went wrong in terms of the reentrancy bug, why the reentrancy modifier did not work, although we had it on the function, just so everyone gets a clear idea of the fact that there were some protections, but it did not execute as planned. Just not too technical, because obviously not everyone's a developer here, but just that high level why it did not proceed as we expected.
Sure. So, long story short, because it was pretty good explained on the last tweets, I guess. But wrapping things up, first the attacker used USDT as collateral to borrow Ether from our protocol. And then the redeem function on the Ether contract was called. And the problem is that it had a check defect interaction pattern implemented incorrectly. So the token transfer, the actual token transfer, happened before the contract state was updated. And that's pretty much the most important thing there. What's next? The attacker used a standard reentrancy method via fallback function to redeem more than he was eligible to, resulting in negative account liquidity. And why the non-reentrant modifier did not work there? It's because it protects us from the reentrancy attack within the same contract and within the same contract only. And this attack was done not within the one contract, but across the entire protocol. So the P-wrapped Bitcoin functions were called from the P-Ether contract, and also the POSDT redeem function. So that's the reason. Indeed, we had some protection to guard us against that, but in this particular case, this protection wasn't enough.
Okay, thank you, Jakob. Further detail was obviously tweeted as post-mortem on how it actually got executed. So I guess so the next thing that we wanted to talk around is this is the main agenda of the call. Of course, this is why we set up as last minute as well. So I will start taking some questions around the whole exploit. And then we have Hacken here as well, so they can answer any questions if you guys have any questions. And then once we're done with the question answering, we will proceed on to what we're going to do next. What are the next steps? How are we going to relaunch the platform? And what sort of things we're going to have in place to prevent this ever happening again. So I will give the floor to some of our attendees to ask some questions. So the first one is PBX Lithian. So you should be able to ask a question now.
Hey guys, so the first question I have is who will support the loss of this exploit? I mean, you need to sell tokens, or Hacken will cover something from the losses. They have some sort of insurance of their missed vulnerability, or how it's going to happen, to who will pay for this mistake?
Okay, so in terms of reimbursement of funds, Paribus will be reimbursing. So we have already identified the depositing wallets. So we know the wallets who have deposited, and we already sent out a form for people to reach out back out to us. We won't be selling tokens for this. We will be using some of the funds from the treasury. It's of course not ideal. It's unfortunate. We don't want to touch the treasury for such measures, but we think it's crucial that we take these steps in the early phase of the project to essentially take it as it comes and reassure the community that we're trying to do the most we can to fix the mistake that has been made. So it'll be Paribus reimbursing users. Yeah, that's essentially it.
A second question is, does Hacken will take another look or of the whole report and recheck everything, just to make at least a post or something to say that now it's double checked or something to rebuild the trust, because some people lost the trust after this exploit, and somehow they seeking reinsurance from this MEA, for example, from everything it's possible to give to them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I've given Hacken profile. So of course we are going to get it rechecked. We do want to actually get it rechecked by a second audit firm, just to make sure everything is well, because you can never be sure, evidently, that an audit is complete just through one audit company. So we are in talks with one more audit firm to make sure we have one more final check before relaunch. On the Hacken side, I'll let Hacken answer on their side, because I've just given Hacken guys some speaker rights. So yeah, if you can unmute Hacken guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question as well. Of course, we take the responsibility for the missed bug, and we are helping, and we were helping Paribus team with the investigation, and we will definitely be there to help with any additional checks and anything we can do to help them secure their system. And of course, we encourage everyone to pass at least several audits for maximum security, because no one can guarantee 100% security. So the more you check, the better it is.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of hacks and exploits in past few years, and even to the very big projects that have been audited by more companies. So, like you said, it's not 100% bulletproof always, but I think doing a recheck and posting about on your Twitter account or maybe other social media, or if you have Discord group, that will help build a more trust to Paribus project. Thanks for that.
Yeah, and we will definitely come up with the official statement later.
Great, thanks. That's it for me regarding the exploit. If anyone else have questions, please. I will have more after you present the futures and what's next with the project.
I'm going to give the floor to Zanipo, Paribus enthusiast, and then it'll be Manny, and then it'll be Dodai next. Okay, Paribus enthusiast, you can go next, and then it'll be Manny.
Yeah, hello everyone. It's
Hello.
Nicola here. This is really unfortunate, and I really have a couple of questions about it. Especially, I don't want to sound like too over attacking, but since this year or only this year we've done about a mainnet 3 audits, I'm just curious. This should be like a red flag, considering that people hacker could exploit the platform. So this should be a red flag, and I don't get it how Hacken couldn't see that big bug. Can can I get a not so developed the how do I say answer from the Hacken, but how is it possible that someone can miss this?
Yeah, do you want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
So to be direct, like we've overseen this, of course, and it happens because it's a human factor. We brought up the bug as a low issue. However, since there was a modifier, non-reentrancy modifier, we flagged it as mitigated. So basically, we've overseen the issue with the that it protects from the reentrancy only for one contract. So basically, we're just didn't select the proper level of issue, the proper severity level. That's a human mistake, and we take the responsibility for it. However, it's possible, unfortunately. And we've had like more than 1,200 projects audited in 2022, and we didn't have a single exploit, which basically means that we're doing quite a good job. Unfortunately, we missed it this time, but we will cooperate with Paribus team to make our best to secure the protocol.
The only problem that I'm seeing here, I've been supporting Paribus since it started, and I really tweet every single day about 2-3 tweets each, and the only problem that I'm seeing here, we delayed to a whole year. We delayed because of the security. And we are not live at the month, and we had an exploit, and because of let's say a big mistake, and people attacked me because I'm the one who like supported the project, and I don't know what to say to them, because some of them, they are right, and I don't know. I hope that I'm gonna see from you guys, from Hacken, like official, not just statement that it happened, but that it happened because you overseen this big bug. And I don't want to sound like over attacking, but I'm the one who truly love this project, because I'm with the team all the time on the private messages, and I know how much they put effort in this the program, and how much money they spend on auditing and something like this to happen at the very beginning, it's really not good for our image. I hope you understand that.
Yeah, of course. And as I said before, we will definitely come up with the official statement taking responsibility for this.
Okay, and the second question is directly to the team. How is this affect us? Because you're gonna take the money from treasury. How this affect the future development of the project? Because as we all know, we didn't have at the beginning we didn't have a lot of money to start, so that's why we didn't put a lot of in the marketing and everything. And since this happened, can you just
Yeah. So
tell us about it?
we're already in talks with a couple of potential investors, even before the exploit, in regards to bringing some additional investment into the treasury. So those conversations are still ongoing. And once we clear that path, we will be back on track to have at least 24 months of runway. At the moment, of course, the financial damage has hurt our runway slightly, but it's not to say that we're basically on the edge of sort of shutting down. That's not the case. We still have a decent runway of, I would say, about 9 months, given the reimbursement. But we are confident in getting the investment that we need to carry on the project and expand the roadmap. The roadmap in terms of the financials. Of course, we do want to push the protocol out as quick as we can, so we can start generating some fees, so that the treasury is not dependent on the external investments at all times. So it has given us a little tough time in terms of slightly shorten our runway, but we do have contingency plans in place to bring in the liquidity required and replenish the treasury as soon as possible.
Okay, I'm gonna let other people speak, and thank you for the answers.
Okay. All right, Manny, you want to go next?
Yeah, hi guys. I just wanted to first say, really good job as far as, once the problem was identified, making the maneuvers and the communication to the community. I think I woke up and it was all pretty much over with. So definitely just, as a positive, good job on the communications. That's a really big piece that a lot of, victims of these types of things just kind of just skip over. They kind of just put their heads down and kind of just disappear for a couple of days. And you guys were right there. So kudos to the team for that. But I did have a question. I've in my content that I create and when I speak about, Paribus or any EVM project, I always kind of say these things are almost a guarantee, like a hack. Although I didn't anticipate it so soon, the impact, it was in the hundreds of thousands of dollars instead of the millions. We just had a project that got hacked, I think maybe today or last night, that got hit for 11 million. So, to the people, that are really afraid or that left the project, just understand that these things, they happen to Ethereum often. I know Cardano people just aren't used to that. But my thing is, for the exploit, as my understanding was, it was something that existed in the Compound V2 contract that was kind of known. And I guess my question is, how would that be fixed versus creating additional code to kind of circumvent the patch? Like, is there a way to just patch it so that you don't have to write additional code to maybe stop it?
Yeah. So it's actually so the known bug from Compound side was on the mint function, not the redeem function. We had it on the redeem function. It's a known bug because it's a known pattern, which is reentrancy. It could easily be patched. I mean, we're talking about like swapping two lines where we do one over the other before. So, like for example, we would update the state of the contract before we do a transfer. It's just literally swapping two lines around, and it makes a huge difference. So the fix is not that complex, and it's done. If we need to go into detail, Jakob can provide the details. So the patch is fairly easy. I mean, it's already executed. We don't need to touch too much of the code. But now that we've had this issue, we're obviously worried, and we want to go back and check everything before we do another release. So this is why we did not do an immediate relaunch, because we want to be sure that everything is checked twice. Well, it was checked twice, but now I actually checked 3 times, and by another company, another audit company, just so that we don't come across this, because now we're in a position where our NFT modules are actually built, and we want to go to audit with those as well. And when you consider all of that, with what just happened, you know, it's bad that we had this hack with 100,000 lost. But if we do not do this properly this time around, and we release the NFT module on top pretty quickly afterwards, then we're talking about hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, plus a lot of NFTs that are in the platform that could be potentially exploited. So we have to be sort of really careful with how we relaunch now.
Yeah, understood. Another to follow up on that, with that circumstance kind of being, the reality of today, do you think like auditing, like writing code, auditing code, and then releasing is the pattern? Should you guys have something in place, sort of like how PeckShield was able to identify that there's something weird had happened, maybe some kind of monitoring system or some kind of alert system that would send a flare up to say, hey, there's a lot of transactions happening rapidly. We should just automatically just look at these types of things to make sure things are okay.
Yeah. So we are taking measures that's going to be more proactive rather than sort of auditing it and then launching it and sort of letting it live on the chain. So PeckShield has a feature called I think PeckShield Alert or something, where they watch the mempool transactions, and if any mempool transactions look a bit malicious, then they're able to alert us. And then we could tie that alert system into the protocol to basically put the protocol on hold before that transaction in the mempool is even mined to be executed on chain. So we are looking into this. We are looking into this feature. I know Hacken has something similar with continuous watching system where they continuously watch the transactions and alert us as well. So we are looking into that. And then aside from that, we also made a statement earlier this week that we will start open sourcing everything that we do. Of course, apart from the off-chain NFT valuations, because that's proprietary. But anything that's going to go on-chain in terms of smart contract, we'll start open sourcing it, and we want to get others to actually start looking into the code and contribute to the code and go through a rigorous PR review process. So these are the steps that we are taking proactively to make sure everything is safe as possible.
Okay, good. And then, after all of this, we're back up and running. Things are open source, everything's good. What are your plans as far as attracting new TVL moving forward? Do you have any kind of plans, or do you have, users lined up, or we just kind of start from zero again?
Yeah, so we have. I mean, to say we have used lineup, it would be ambitious. So we are going to, of course, do marketing campaigns. So we were actually supposed to turn on the reward incentive program by now to start acquiring some liquidity, and then that was supposed to be coupled in with a marketing program that we had, which was going to run some advertisement campaigns across the Web3 space, including Brave ads, to entice people to start lending. So those are still in place, but now, of course, the exploit happened and the whole incentive program has been put on hold. So we will go back to that program and the whole marketing campaign that we have in place, planned in place to be executed. We do have a social media campaign that's supposed to go out, that was supposed to go out by now, which got put on hold. And then aside from that, we are looking to try to attract other DeFi users from other platforms like Avi and Compound to come over and test out the platform, because it's a familiar use case. It's a familiar look and feel in terms of interaction with the platform. So we do have a bunch of marketing campaigns. We just never got around to actually executing it. And I think once we're clear we will just start executing those back to back and then start to acquire some TVL from the larger Web3 community.
Okay, I had one final question that was sort of about like we have like there's another project that they get made fun of for being a copy of another platform, but in reality, the quote unquote copy is actually involved in this project. So I was curious as if you were going to incorporate or start building a relationship with maybe Compound or Aave and maybe participate in some type of like a hackathon event where you encourage hacking to also double-edged sword be a form of security, like if that was in the cards.
Well, once we reach a certain level of TVL, those named mentioned blue chip DeFi's tend to be open to partnerships. I know, for example, the Compound, one of the Compound co-founders, early on wanted to sort of touch base once we go live. Obviously, we went live, but it didn't go as according to plan. So, we're hoping to do some partnerships with these blue chips and to sort of, because these blue chips live on certain chains and they can't move to other chains as quickly as we can because we're obviously a smaller project and we have much more. We have a lot more maneuverability in terms of deploying to other chains that they may be interested in as well, but they cannot easily do it. So we are looking into different partnerships, and the more chains that we deploy to, the more attractive the brand it becomes. So yeah, we'll be looking for partnerships across the space. We're not sort of closing our doors and saying no to any potential partnerships that may come forward, and actively actually reaching out to other blue chips to utilize each other's social media reach and Web3 space reach.
Okay, thank you for answering my questions. That's all I have.
No problem. Okay, I had one more person, Todai, but I think he's disappeared. Oh no, he's here. Still want to ask something or no? Anyone else? B Cinnamon, you want to go next?
Yes, thank you guys. First of all, it's really nice that you came here and you do this. It shows that you care. Not that we didn't think that you cared before, but the honest truth is a lot of the community members wasn't directly affected because it's more you guys that got affected more than anything, and this whole thing and it just I wanted to ask what's the process of making PBX open source, like when are we starting to do that and what is the process?
Yeah. Simon, do you want to go for this one?
You mean me or?
Yeah, you. Simon.
Yeah. So I had already a couple of discussions with our developers around this, and we are currently making a plan how we open source everything. Obviously, because we have some repository mirroring, that's why we need to figure out currently how we do the new workflow in the future. But we are definitely working on providing that as soon as possible, that we have an open source repository where you see the active development of our platform, and everyone can participate in that.
Thank you. And I wanted to ask also another thing. Is this is something that goes through C Fund, given that they're helping you guys? So are you talking to them about what happened, and are they looking for solutions for you as well?
Every single partner that we have, including C Fund, is aware of what's happened. We have told everyone within our circle, so everybody's aware. Everybody's willing to help as much as they can. So C Fund is no exception. They did, tell us that if we need anything, they're happy to sort of help out wherever they can. But of course, we need to sort out our own house first and get things in order before we start sort of making requests externally. So given this week it was a bit of a hectic week for us, scrambling, fixing things up, after this, and once we are settled back into our usual flow, then yeah, all of our partners are willing to help, and we will be making requests where necessary.
And now that some time passed since what happened, like, what are your thoughts now on the project, about the future? Or, like, just share like your feelings, your personal feelings about like what do you see happening? Is new things came up to you that you want to try, or I don't know.
Yeah. So I'll keep it brief on my side, and I'll let Wilson and Simon drop a few lines as well. So obviously, it's quite upsetting. You know, you put all this effort and all these funds into it, and you know, after the first few weeks, you get drained. It's not ideal for any sort of co-founder or any sort of software engineer for them to see them for them to see their platform go down like this. I woke up and Simon told me what's happened. It was a complete shock, which was bad. But you know, you live and learn. So we do the best we can. We still have future plans for Paribus, and we have made great progress in the background for governance module for the NFT side. Even though the exploit happened, things have been progressing, and we are excited about what's coming, especially the governance module, because it's going to change a lot of things for Paribus in terms of getting the community involved, ability to reach out to external partners better, because the more communities involved within the protocol and the whole code base, the better chances we have of sort of reaching out to these partners and making requests, because it's not a centralized entity that's building this entire protocol anymore. So we are excited about the future, especially the NFT side. I'm very excited about that side. I think we're going to bring a good utility to the NFT space, which is continuously growing, as we've seen in the last couple of quarters. And of course, the market is turning, so everything is looking up. Hopefully, it stays like that. And we want to capitalize on this future. So nothing on that perspective in terms of the future where Paribus has changed for me. It's just been a rough ride for the past 1 week. Simon, Wilson, if you guys want to share anything as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a very unfortunate situation that's happened. You know, we've always focused on security since the very beginning, and it's been pretty clear, like, to everyone who's, you know, been with us for a while and, you know, who reads our articles and things like that, that, you know, it has been such a focus, and we've wanted to try to do everything that we can to make it so that we have the most secure, you know, code as we possibly can. And, you know, just the fact that this happened really took a big hit, you know, for us. You know, I think monetarily it's not the biggest hack for sure, but it's obviously more the reputation than anything else. And we want to do everything we can to basically get to a point where, you know, we can earn back the reputation of, you know, community members who are here now, and those who are, you know, planning to join. And I think we kind of have an opportunity now to kind of take an additional look. You know, we always feel like we had done such a good job with it, but, you know, at this stage we found that, you know, let's do even more, and that's going to come in the form of opening the code to have it be you know, checked by multiple developers globally, and that's going to come in the form also as continual audits and continual monitoring. And, you know, we want to make sure that we continue with our vision of Paribus, and that's, you know, not affected. And I think, you know, we definitely can do that. It's going to take a little bit of a hit just for, you know, this next while, but I really truly do think that we can come back stronger than before.
And Dennis, you started speaking about the governance. I'm also really excited about that. Was that significantly pushed, or are we still going to see it?
Yeah,
So governance, we will have a clear update with a potential date on it in our next town hall, possibly. Of course, we're going to go to audit on that as well, and everything will be in place. But yeah, we made significant progress on the governance side as well. If Jakob wishes to go into more detail, he can do so. But yeah, we're very excited. I mean, the UI is complete pretty much. The back end, the smart contracts are getting there. So yeah, we're quite happy with the progress that we made on that front.
Thank you.
All right, so I will give the floor back to PBX Defiant.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you guys if you want to move to the futures that will be and to announce everything you wanted to announce and ask the questions later, because some of the question was like the VPBX and so on were already asked now. And I would love to learn first everything you have to say about what's up next with the project and what futures and how was the progress in the past 2-3 weeks since we have launched the mainnet version 1.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure if we should give update in this tunnel, but maybe we can just go briefly over it. So VPVX, which is the governance side, is in progress. It's going well. The NFT side is Jakob can confirm as well that it's pretty much done. It's the off-chain valuation side that we're basically working on right now to make it more efficient and a bit more gas friendly. So both those things have progressed well. And next steps would be for the NFT side. So we want to take the current code base, which we had a small fix on due to exploit, plus the NFT modules that we added on top, and put that into audit in the next few weeks, so that we can come up with a go live date for the NFT side as well, not just relaunching the platform. And then the governance side, as I said, we'll have a date and some sort of preliminary date within our next town hall.
Just additionally on that, we are going to have a development update, like an article that will come out in the next few weeks that'll give a little more detail.
Yeah. And of course, VPBX will be, we will provide a Gitbook documentation for VPBX, how it works, what sort of returns we're looking at, what sort of proposals that we are seeking, and what sort of voting mechanisms that we have in place. All of the details would be released in the relevant pages.
But are we in the cards with all the things in the roadmap? And will those things be done by the end of this year, like it was announced?
Yeah, we're still on track. Nothing's changed. I mean, this exploit hasn't changed anything on our roadmap because we were still working. So I would say we're still on track with our roadmap. Nothing's really changed on that front.
So basically, you say you will have headquarters in metaverses, you will have the AI module for NFTs and everything that's announced in the roadmap. Yes, just to confirm for
Well,
everyone.
the metaverse HQ still depends on the third party because we are waiting on the provider of the metaverse to say they're ready. But aside from that, yeah, all the other materials and items, we're still on track to deliver.
And can you say again at the relaunch of the platform, what features will be added besides the incentive to attract new people to put their money to borrow?
Well, the relaunch would be the same platform, obviously fixed, and then we want to follow up quickly. Well, I say quickly, but depend on audits with the NFT modules. But the relaunch platform would be what we launched already with the relevant fixes in place.
When you will give updates in the article about the dev side, can you please make an order of the futures that will be released and some sort of time frame, like, I don't know, at least the Q2, Q3, Q4, I don't know, something. Doesn't now need to be very specific, but I need to see an order because I see on the roadmap, but some things you said that it was on speed up and was done faster than expected and will be released earlier than others. So it will be nice to see an order of the futures that will be released. For example, what's with migrating to Cardano? What to expect from there and when to expect staking? Because we spoke about the NFT module and the DAO, and the VPBX, but we didn't. For example, today we didn't mention anything about the migrating to Cardano, and that's a huge milestone that was announced that as a next step.
Yeah. So migration to Cardano, I guess we'll provide a full detail, as you say, with a timeline. But migration to Cardano, it still depends on a couple of things. So we are in talks with Milkameda, which is obviously the sidechain, unofficial sidechain of Cardano. The only thing that's stopping us on Milkameda is the Oracle side, as we mentioned. So we did speak to them again last week. So we are in continuous touch with the Milkameda team. I know they released the wrapped smart contract calls recently, which of course works in our favor. So as soon as there's an Oracle, which they are trying to speed up on their end, we will look to move on to that chain as well. In terms of the official side chain from Cardano, there isn't a date on it from IOG yet, but as soon as there is a stable version, we will be looking into that as well, given that the oracles are there. And aside from that, we are talking to a couple of bridge providers to move CNFTs back and forth between EVM and non-EVM. But yeah, we will provide details as we go along and as we get dates from our external partners as well.
And last time when we talked, you mentioned something that it could be a surprise and see the Paribus also on Polygon. Isn't easier than to migrate to Cardano to go for Polygon and then to Cardano once everything is set up there?
Well, Polygon ZK EVM is EVM, so it's very easy for us to sort of migrate there, than as opposed to Cardano. But again, every single chain that we deploy, we want to deploy to depends on a couple of things. Obviously, the stability of the network and the oracles that are on there. So we will see how things progress. I think there is a couple of Chainlink has already deployed a couple of price feeds on Polygon ZK. So if things go according to plan, then that will be a low-hanging fruit for us, along with ZK, Optimism, all these chains that are essentially EVM. We can try to hit them as quickly as possible in a safe manner, given that the oracles are there.
And you need another audit for each chain, or it's enough to have for the current audits, or for each chain you have to make a new audit?
No, because the code base doesn't change. We just need to run tests to make sure everything executes as expected. Because some ZKs, some of the EVM functions do not exactly work as intended. So, like, we need to execute tests to make sure that everything is executing as intended. But the code base itself doesn't change. So the audit, I don't think we need an audit for each chain.
So you tell me that the core is on EVM now on Ethereum network, and everything else is working like some APIs that go and back and forth with everything, right?
Well, there will be the same set of code base, so the same set of smart contracts are deployed onto different L2s. And then we are working on the UI to make it sort of chain agnostic, so you could switch between chains. And we also want to bring in built-in bridges to Cardano, so you don't have to leave the platform to move your assets across. So wherever we deploy it, you could just bridge your asset and then enter that pool if it has a better APY on an X chain as opposed to a Y chain. But the contracts will be deployed on every chain that we go onto.
So basically, we will always be with the core on Ethereum and not on Cardano or on other blockchain for now.
Well, there is no concept of core. We're just deployed everywhere, right? So we will be deployed on many chains, including Milkameda and Cardano sidechain. But if you're asking about native Cardano solution, that has to be basically rewritten, because native Cardano is Plutus and our code base is Solidity. So we would have to actually rewrite the entire application. And as we mentioned before, Plutus developers are very expensive and we do not have the budget to hire these developers. So we will come back to native version of the Cardano when we have a bit more room in terms of treasury and hiring of Plutus developers.
And maybe some more interest from their community or at a higher level to give you some more support or maybe even help with some dev part. Okay,
Yeah.
one of my last questions is we don't know when to expect staking, because from what I understand we have first to migrate to Cardano to have stake, right?
No, we don't. We will, as I said, in our next town hall, we will give a preliminary date of the staking. Staking would be running on our current code base in Solidity, so we can make the staking go live. We don't have to wait for the Cardano native version of it. So we will give a preliminary date in the next town hall, possibly.
So that will be in the next article, we will get some sort of order of futures that will be released and some predictions of the time frame.
Yeah, we'll try to give high-level dates, but nothing too precise.
Yeah, like Q1, Q2, Q3, and so on. Doesn't need to be specific like in that month, but at least in that 2-3 months we have to cover it, you know, because we have to understand basically when will be released each futures. If it's sooner, that's a good surprise. But let's hope it's not
Exactly.
later.
We will be able to. We'll be able to give high-level dates.
Okay.
For sure.
But one last question regarding the investors. What is the minimum amount to be invested in the project to have a private talk with as direct investors in the project?
We really haven't thought of that, but I mean, the minimum ticket sizes that we're looking at is about 50K. So that would possibly be enough to have private conversations. Yeah.
I ask this because I know some people in the community, they have the money, they just use a small part to invest in the project, but maybe after they hear this, maybe they will decide to invest more, and 50K is something that they afford to advance with the talk. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Have a good day
No problem.
or night.
Okay. Let's try with Dodai one more time. You're back now. You should be able to speak.
All right, thank you very much. I actually had issues with my network. So, okay, so my question is about trust. So yeah, I'm an ambassador of Paribus, and I put out tweets. So the community, one of the comments I got is about a tweet, and then the comment was like, we just got exploited. So I would like to know, going further, how do Paribus plan to regain the trust of the community, because that's really what matters. So yeah, that's my first question. Hello, can anyone hear me?
So the only way to build trust is to continue to build the product. That's basically it. I mean, words are not going to build trust. These town halls are good to sort of give you guys a confidence that we are behind the project. We're not going anywhere. We've spent crazy amount of hours on this, and we're still here. But the only way to build real trust is to build a project. So we will continue to build a project. We will continue to push out the features that we promised on. And over time, we believe that once Paribus reaches its goals, this first instance of a little exploit will just be sort of a blip in the timeline or the history of Paribus. But as I said, I mean, the only way to build the trust is to build a product in a good way and release it in a safe manner. Okay. So I will give the floor
All right,
to
that's
Victor Duran.
noted. That would be good. I hope This does not affect the PBX token in any way, the holders and all. Does it affect it?
No, the token itself is not related. It's not. It has nothing to do with the exploit. It's independent.
Hi, I guess, did you call me up? I was wondering, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I noticed Paribus is you guys have in your description in Twitter that you're being built for Cardano. And I'm just wondering what that timeline looks like and what are the plans for getting to the ecosystem, and if you guys have any rather partnerships or organizations you're working with to kind of make that transition from I think you guys are on Ethereum to Cardano seamless.
Yeah, so the reason why we say it's built for Cardano is because our intention is to bring liquidity and user activity to Cardano. So we do this through basically the approach of cross-chain, and we want to live on many chains but interface with Cardano, so that we entice people to move their liquidity back and forth between these chains. That's why we say it's built for Cardano, because we believe that it's going to bring additional liquidity and user activity to the Cardano ecosystem. This is why the IOG itself is actually, and even Milkomeda, when they released the wrapped smart contracts and the EVM side of things, they immediately said things like, well, Milkomeda is basically, Cardano itself is the biggest contributor to EVM and vice versa, because we now have flow of funds back and forth between these chains and there is no barriers anymore. And I think that approach in general, where we try to be interoperable rather than sort of be in our garden walls as different chains, is better for the Web3 community overall. So in terms of how we're going to do that, as mentioned earlier as well, we're going to be on different sort of side chains. So we're going to be on Milkomeda, we're going to be on the IOG's official EVM sidechain, and we will be that protocol that everyone sees when they want to sort of interact with both sides of the world, EVM, non-EVM. So in terms of the plans, as mentioned, we are in talks with Milkomeda continuously to get updates about the oracles. So we will deploy there. We are in talks with IOG for the official sidechain, so we will deploy there. And over time, once we have the funds to hire the Plutus developers, we do want to, of course, deploy a native app that sort of caters to the Cardano community strictly as well. But this is our roadmap. This is how we plan to sort of cross over to both the communities and sort of allow that liquidity to flow.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thanks for answering my questions.
No problem. Okay, I will take.
Sorry, can I?
Yeah, Nicola, you and then B Cinnamon as the last two, and then we'll wrap it up for the day.
Yeah, I would like just to share some thought with you. You know how the universe function? It's like in the books and everywhere. Like when you really want something, it can happen to you, and also if you're really afraid of something, it also can happen to you. And the past whole year, we were speaking like the security is the main focus. At the end, it happened to us, but it's like it's not a big deal because it's not a big amount. It is because we are the new, we are a small project, but it's not a big deal. It's 100,000. My advice, because we're also speaking about reputation, and in order to do that, we need like maybe to push marketing a little faster and also try. I don't know. It's not because of me or any investor to get some new exchanges to just see PBX as a Paribus project, like going, we are live and blah blah blah. Even if we are paused now. And also, regarding to Cardano, I've been looking, especially yesterday and today, a lot of tweets. And there's this guy. He was here the whole since the start. I don't want to mention his name. He was the one who like posted our pictures. You know, like this is backed from C Found, and we are building for Cardano, but we are on Ethereum and blah blah blah. And then picture of your announcement where we were being hijacked, you know. And yeah, there will also be always be people who are like, when you say Cardano and you want to attack Cardano or whatever, they're like defending like crazy, you know. They don't understand how the cross chain works, and we're gonna be a truly cross chain. So we're gonna work with all the chains being built for Cardano. Eventually, we're gonna be a Cardano. So I hope this is not gonna like postpone our timeline, because that's also important. And we will see the DAO and our governance token VPBX and the staking protocols this quarter. I think we said Q1 or Q2. All in all, yeah, maybe this advice about listing and marketing will push up Paribus higher.
Yeah. So just a couple of things. The listing side, that's always ongoing in the background. There's no sort of rest on that side. We do work, but we need to be we need to understand that we are already on the top two tier 2 exchanges, so Gate and KuCoin. They're considered as tier 2, and we don't want to take a step below that. I mean, that's like going down. We don't want to be listed on an exchange that's tier 3 because it's so pointless. We're on a better exchange. But in terms of tier 1 and tier 2 exchanges, we are working in the background. So that never stops. In regards to comments about why we're not Cardano native, etc., we've never been a sort of advocate for maximalist views. We do not believe in maximalist of whatever chain it is, ETH maximalist, Cardano, Bitcoin, whatever it is, because at the end of the day, Web3 is here to change the status quo, which is centralization and the current financial system. And the only way to change that is not to fight each other and try to grab each other's liquidity. It's to actually be interoperable and let liquidity flow. So we've always said that from day one, and that's always been our on our roadmap from day one.
Yeah, I was wondering if I can just comment on that really quick. And yeah, I definitely understand your guys' point of view from trying to start on Ethereum, which is of course the most liquidity in smart contracts, and trying to bridge people over to Cardano. And just what you said, the whole interoperability thing, I 100% agree with, and this whole maximalism thing. But I think the issue with the Cardano community is more so like not building on Cardano and kind of using the security that Cardano offers. But I think there's also a misconception that if you build on Cardano, it's impossible to have a bug or an exploit. I mean, there hasn't been any major exploits, I don't think, on Cardano apps, but I don't think it's impossible to happen. But I was just going to say, yeah, I think you guys just like you said earlier, just keep focused on building the product, because I think I've been following you guys for quite some time, and there's been a lot of people have been, what's the word I'm looking for, expecting a really great product, and I don't know if it was just me, but right off the bat, it didn't seem anything that I guess I was expecting a lot more coming from the mainnet, but I understand it's a long, arduous process of bringing in products to the platform, and especially with the recent incident that you guys went through, it's kind of putting back a little bit setback. But I really appreciate that you guys are going to make it open source and really reanalyzing the approach you guys are going to go with it and moving forward. So I'm rooting for you guys. I know you guys are going to get things right, and yeah, rooting for you guys.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, B Cinnamon, we'll have you as last, and then we'll wrap up the call.
No, you just said about the process of moving to Cardano. You'll need to build a new code on Haskell. I just wondered if you are familiar with smart contracts built on Python on
Cardano. No, I'm not actually. I did not realize they released such feature. But we'll check it out, because Python is obviously a language that's in abundance in terms of developers.
Yep. Yeah.
So we'll definitely check it out.
Check up option. It's option. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll take note of that. Thank you. All right. So we'll wrap up the call. As always, we're reachable on Telegram, so we'll speak there. Take care. Until next time, stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.